Greetings, minions! Lord Crocker Squirrel here with the very lovely Kitty.
Hello.
And this is ICARUS.1. ICARUS.1. The ship has been abandoned for quite some time, and we don't know what happened to it or the crew. We're going to go. But at this point, we've got some pre-recorded footage I played earlier, and we're gonna go have a look. It's been out here for about 5 days as of this recording, and is currently $7.19 on Steam, down from the regular $9 that it will be in just about a day and a half from now. Well, a day and a half from when we're recording the video, anyway. It it should still be on sale by the time you see this, but no promises. So let's let's have a look, shall we? Pretty sure
Okay.
that's the right. Yep, that's the right chunk of video there. And click. Here we go. Icarus 1. All right. Here we go. And yay. Now there was actually no way to turn the volume on the to turn the volume down in game. It's the one thing I had an objection to, is that our the audio controls were zero. There weren't any.
There were no options.
No options for audio. We did get some video options, I believe, and I think I looked at that, but there wasn't anything for audio.
Mm. The character is named Sarah
His name is,
or
or her name is
Sam.
Sam. The
Mm.
character's name is Sam. The AI is David.
Okay.
Now this is a lot of fairly low quality textures, but they've used the same thing throughout, so it's actually not a problem as far as I'm concerned. That would be Sam's ship out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're looking to see. Oh, here we go. Clip. The controls here are actually fairly simple. It's your WASD or arrow keys and your mouse buttons. Sometimes you have to hold it. Sometimes you have to do clickies. That door wasn't actually fused. It was just stuck. So they actually used the wrong word there. A manual override wouldn't have worked there. Okay. This is chapter one.
Sam just wakes up on the ship.
Actually, they were not so much that, but
No
it was that.
explanation given.
Well, the docking pod crashed into the ship. The landing was a bit rough,
Ah, okay.
and that was actually stated up front. Right now, I'm looking around because I haven't figured out quite how things operate yet. They didn't tell me, so they weren't telling me very much. They told me just enough if I was looking in the right spot, and that tends to be the thing through this entire section. Look at there, and the textures you're seeing are
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the way they are. That's the way they are throughout the entire game. Everything's fairly low poly, but it's well made.
Mm-hmm.
So, eh, they did what they could with the amount with what they had available to them, and it really didn't even stress the card out too bad. And I still got, as you can see up in the upper right hand corner, 60 frames a second throughout. Okay. Dolores de Cruz had her little comments. There's a box of flares. We'll want them later. I don't know how many flares were in the box. It just is. but there are no flashlights. At least I haven't found one. And depending on how many I'm going to need later, I could actually very easily applaud them for that.
ICARUS.1. We hope you enjoy your stay. I'm Agila and here to answer any questions you may have. All mineral should be deposited before proceeding. Flight crew must attend their designated habitation suites.
The other thing is they actually they actually managed to get the stereo balanced correctly, so that if I was looking in one direction, I was hearing it in one ear, and looking in the other direction, I was hearing it in a different ear. Okay.
So the ship is abandoned, but the life support is on.
Well, no, actually, it isn't necessarily, because she's wearing a spacesuit.
Oh, she's wearing a spacesuit.
That's what this. You see the marks on the screen there? That's actually part of her helmet. That's the faceplate of her helmet. You'll see more of that in a little while. This is one of the only negative review that was on here that this game even gathered was complaining about the way this HUD looks. But as it turns out, you really don't need much of a HUD. So I go around, poke my nose in here. That thing is on, but it's actually not working. So there's little emails everywhere that tell the story.
We hope you enjoy your stay. I'm Agila and here to answer any questions you may have. All mineral should be deposited before proceeding. Flight crew must attend their designated habitation suites. Any questions can be answered by your section team leader.
Now, we don't have the foggiest idea what's happened to the ship. We just know this is the material this is the sorts of information that came up. That was actually a glitch. That wasn't the recording. The game actually glitched there. It is the only time. I think I only saw a couple of those glitches. The frame rate went down to about 5 and then popped right back up. Of course you do, Dad. Of course you do, David. Once you figure out what the switches are, how the switches work, it's actually fairly easy to work with them. Operation Lift Switch. Well, you're going to have a thing there. You need a key card to get in there, and fortunately, it was right nearby. That's the key card there.
So someone in the reviews complained about her wearing the helmet.
Yeah.
There is one thing about sci-fi that when you're in space and you go to a potentially hostile environment,
you wear a freaking helmet.
You wear a freaking spacesuit to avoid contamination or this kind of thing. This is
or avoid having to breathe hard vacuum. That's always good.
Yeah, because this is spacefaring 101.
Yeah. Outside, you know that place over there. Yeah, outside. Yeah, that shit's painful.
Yeah. It can be some biohazard. It can be vacuum. It can be anything. So wear your freaking spacesuit.
Now the only thing that ever actually managed to give me any real damage was falling.
Mm.
And the one trap I found was actually telegraphed. Here in a minute, I'm going to try it. I'm going to check I'm going to grab a flare.
Mm.
And this took me a second to figure out, but not a very long one. Not a press the switch. Pump. 2, 3. You're going to prime it, and then hit the switch.
Door clamp disengaged.
Okay. Problem is there's another one, and I didn't realize that for a little bit. This is where I think this is where I went for the flare. Yeah, there it is.
It's so strange they closed the blast doors. It's almost like they were trying to take the ship offline.
Really? I tossed the flare because I wanted to see if I could actually put it out, and it didn't really matter because I had already figured out how the area worked.
They closed the blast doors.
Yep, they closed the blast doors.
Hmm.
Don't ask me exactly why. I think they were actually worried about something. They were probably worried about something. But you can see
Yeah.
that dark space up front.
Mhm.
That's how they did it. None of this equipment up here is really working, and it won't for a while. Lifeboat systems. That system's been locked down. So the lifeboats aren't working. The chances of them having gone to the planet with lifeboats like that is pretty thin. So they're probably still around here somewhere. Habitation and door systems. Not enough power for system startup. We don't know how to get there from here. So anyway, I'm going to spend a few minutes here running around because that's how I do things. That is an email from Lieutenant Sanderson. It was on one of the computers near here. But apparently there are chunks of loot running around this level. There are 8 of them, and I only managed to find one, and I don't even know which one it was. Okay, blast door release. Okay, there's a door clamp. Oh wait, that's what I was down here looking for. Right. I should probably get on that. I'm going to use a second flare here too. Yeah, that's the one I already used. It is a bit of a puzzle around here, but it's not such a puzzle that it's actually going to get. It actually kicks my butt. And the things that they do use for that make some level of sense. And why I turned around and ran back that way, I already know what's over there. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And I can't go down using this lift, much as I wish I could, because it actually hurt to not be able to. Okay, now it's time to check my corners because, yeah, that's a thing. There is a spoiler on this one. I'm not gonna say what it is now. I may tell you later, Kitty.
Okay.
But for a game for November 2016, this isn't actually all that bad. I only managed to make it through the first chapter of this playthrough. So,
I noticed empty cups.
yep, empty cups, stuff around. I mean, it's not like
It looks like they left kind of in a hurry or
they
something.
may have. Yeah, we don't. That's the problem. We don't actually know. Here we go. I found the other pressure switch.
Door clamp disengaged.
Now I know what I got to do. I can't power that. I don't even know how that powers. There is insufficient power for startup, but why? I don't want to go back up those stairs. We're going to swing around here to the other one because that's not a thing. Where did I find that? Oh, that's right. The panel's in the upper level. Turn. Look. It's actually right there. Got it. Now I've released the blast doors. A little music there from Kevin MacLeod. Nice and dramatic. I like it. This is actually a good choice here. Now you're going to see
things are powering up.
lifeboat systems are still down, but you can now you can see the computer monitors all coming on. This is what 70s and 80s sci-fi looks like. Not that thing we did. Not that thing we had a look at yesterday. You remember that?
Yeah.
This is what it looked like. Okay. So now I'm gonna go. Now I'm gonna go poke my nose in places that I shouldn't. And here's where I'm gonna take some damage. Why? Because I'm an idiot. Now, right here, you can see. See all the cracking in the visor?
Mm-hmm.
That's our indicator that we've taken damage. That's our health meter.
Mm.
Wait for it.
Why did she take damage?
Because she fell a fair distance. Wait for it.
Mm.
Careful. What's that? The floor?
Something I could walk over. Boop. Don't do that twice.
Good job. It malfunctioned. We'd better be careful.
Yeah, good job. It malfunctioned. Because usually the best way to do something like that is just set the freaking trap off and hope like hell you can avoid the area of effect. Okay. Now, we are actually back down towards the bottom where we came from. A little lift here. And this will represent the end of Chapter 1. That terminal switch gives us access to a place over there. Now, this one wasn't on earlier. This terminal wasn't on before we restored the solar power in the front of the ship. That's Dr. Joyce. Apparently, she's in charge of the ground team. Miners, farmers, and things. I think it's actually basic colony setup. She didn't bring enough books. That's her big concern in the universe. She didn't bring enough books. Okay.
Mm.
See, now we're in the area that we started in. There's a switch fuse. I don't know what that fuse is for, but it was present at some point. A large bolt. We need a ratchet for this. And where are we likely to find a ratchet? That's an excellent question. Because that's what I'm going to go looking for now. And it was not accessible earlier today. That's an ore crate. It is apparently empty. I have no idea what was in it. Actually, I think that might have been the loot bag, the loot bin I found. But there were apparently 8 bits of loot, and I only found 1. So I'm actually going to replay this and spend longer at it to see if I can figure out where that bit of loot was. I don't remember where I found.
Actually, this caught my attention.
Okay. I mean, yeah, the graphics aren't great, but you know what? What would be at this point? The thing is, we don't have anything really well textured except maybe that chunk of rug, and even that's not all.
Yeah, maybe the graphics aren't great, but there is a story in there.
The graphics also seem to fit. The graphics also seem to fit the story, which is
Yeah.
kind of the thing I was looking at. There was another game like this that I actually thought pretty well of before I while I was getting into it, and
This game heavily reminds me the 70s sci-fi.
yeah, and that's,
It has the atmosphere and
and this is, if I remember correctly, right near the end of our. Just went over here and had a look, because that door's not opening. If I remember correctly, this is actually the end of the thing, or we're right near the end of the game, the end of this first chapter. We've only got a couple minutes left of it. We're actually about a minute.
this sample that you recorded left me curious enough to want to know what happens next.
Yep, and right now it's even now it's on discount. But the price of admission isn't horrible. The whole game probably going to run about 2 hours, maybe 3 or 4 if you're. Yeah, I'm not in control anymore. Chapter 2 is going to start in just a moment. But yeah, it's actually set up not unlike the Turing test, except not quite as evil in terms of some of the puzzles. Um, and the options thingy here is a little more. It's a little more sensitive than I like. I hadn't actually intended to turn off the game at this point. Return to titles, and I was gonna go poke around and do a couple things here, but I wound up quitting the game almost by accident. So, yeah, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for this. It's actually pretty. It's actually pretty good. Um,
Yeah, I like the game.
so that's gonna be it for this particular game. Uh, if you like what we're doing, subscribe, like, give us a nice thumbs up down there. If you think we're wrong, feel free to give us a thumbs down. I'm liking this. I'll probably play it later again for a full review, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good so far. So between now and then, I'd say be safe, be sane, and
Let's make games fun again.
all right. See you guys later. See you guys in the next ADHD Gamer.